Fire, the spark of becoming. To be forgotten, this wasteland of absolution. From the furthest shore to the tallest mountain peak, time remains unfurled but never unmoored, anchored to the axis of perpetual moment, where all beginnings course through the veins of the future, a lifeblood that beholds synchronicities as memory, and déjà vu as amusement. To muse is merriment of this ecstatic dance, not to the rhythm of cannibalistic annihilation, but to the beat of a heart that need not be singular. Moments become truncated, stolen for the sake of pollination. The theft of fire is nothing more than the spreading of infernal spores, replicated, duplicated, and made hollow through the multiplication of zero and a cascading wilderness of becoming. This desire for growth, for experience, to be immolated by the very thing that gave it life, birthed to be destroyed, simultaneously whole yet fragmented within the transfiguration of being. From the nothing sparked the first thought, non-action to motion that precedes the first breath, beginning the spiral scattering of becoming conceived from nothing. Where does this rolling dervish take the concept of inclination to proclamation? To the very depths of the heart and back again. The story of fire is a story as old as creation. Forget about time. It is the impulse of our hearts that presages thought itself, that when finally uttered, propels this ineffable essence from the downward spiral of materialization, condensing into matter and cross-pollinated by the wind. It supersedes all boundaries, becoming nothing more than the dew of memory that permeates existence and nourishes the original seed of conception, allowing it to flower into its fullest expression of being. A being immersed in the catalytic conversion of alchemized potential, ceaselessly becoming. The three faces of fire. Drive is the key word that belongs to fire. The drive to become, cardinal Aries. The drive to be, fixed Leo. The drive to expand, mutable Sagittarius. Not even thought would be if not for fire, for there would be no source of energy to ignite this entire dance of becoming. Each sign of fire expresses this drive in its own unique flame, shaping the journey of becoming through initiation, radiance, and exploration. Aries, cardinal fire. The primordial spark, the first flare in darkness, the shout of I am echoing across the void. Here, fire is the bold pioneer, the ignition of will, the sacred act of beginning. Aries is Prometheus stealing flame from the gods, the hero setting foot on unbroken ground, the pulse that propels creation into motion. In Aries, fire is at its most unbridled, courageous, irrepressible, always reaching for the horizon of the next possibility. It is the birth of impulse, the moment desire leaps into action. Leo, fixed fire. The steady heart of the flame. In Leo, fire becomes the sun, centered, radiant, sovereign. This is the hearth around which stories are gathered, the warmth that draws life close and inspires the world to bloom. Leo is the artist and the king, the dancer illuminated in the spotlight, the child who creates for the sheer joy of expression. Here, fire sustains itself, burning bright and unwavering, a testament to the creative spirit's enduring power. It is the light that does not flicker, the essence of being that declares, I am worthy to shine. Sagittarius, mutable fire. The wildfire and the wandering star. Here, fire leaps from peak to peak, forever seeking, forever questioning. Sagittarius is the philosopher and the archer, the pilgrim whose feet are singed by curiosity, whose arrows fly toward distant truths. This is the flame that cannot be contained. It hungers for expansion, for meaning, for the adventure that transforms knowledge into wisdom. In Sagittarius, fire becomes both student and teacher, carrying its torch into uncharted realms, illuminating possibility wherever it wanders. Within these three, fire reveals its eternal dance, the ignition of Aries, the radiance of Leo, and the questing spirit of Sagittarius. And every spark of courage, every act of creation, every journey toward the unknown, fire lives, guiding us to become, to be, to expand beyond our limits and kindle the worlds yet to come. The universal flame. When you gaze upon the face of fire, staring into its swaying, hypnotic undulations, you are staring into a singular fire, one and the same, indeterminate of time and space. Fire on Proxima is fire on Earth. The fire in the hearth is the very same fire that inspires our hearts or ignites the mineral chemical explosion upon the conception of ourselves as spirit-made matter. Flesh and bone are born of unseen processes that initiate the uninitiated into a holy order, not of idolized religiosity or quantifiable demographics aching to control a human product to sustain an artificial reality, but of an eternal truth that emerges from entropy as the bloody tide of history becomes fodder for our endless becoming. The reduction of matter through the cleansing flame is both ending and beginning, the crucible in which essence is revealed and dross consumed. Fire does not merely destroy, it refines, transmuting what was into what might yet be. In its heat, stories are forged, identities are tested, and the boundaries of self are rendered porous by the touch of inspiration and ordeal. To walk the path of fire is to accept transformation as the price and promise of existence, to be willing to burn, to become ash, and to rise again, ever renewed, ever becoming. So the ancient legacy of fire endures within us, an unquenchable spark, lighting the way through the wilderness of becoming, toward a future perpetually being born.